As an athlete, I feel like I sort of peaked when I was in, probably sixth grade. Like I was small, undersized, hadn't hit my quote growth spurt yet, but it always sort of drove my fascination of how are some people who are even my size and might even have the same skills that I have, able to apply them in a way that allows them to play at a professional level.
Here goes Messi. They're backing off and backing on. It's a wonder goal.
Ronda's hand speed, unbelievable.
We're down to 2. Now to 1. Here's Jordan. Yes!
John Brenkus is obsessed with athletic performance. He's the host and founder of the Emmy Award-winning show Sports Science, the author of the New York Times bestseller The Perfection Point, and is now the CMO of the natural energy drink company Killcliff. He spent the last decade popularizing something previously unheard of in sports pop culture: science.
It's almost like my own failings as an athlete and my own admiration for others was the driving force behind what is the difference between good and great.
I'm Doug Fraser, and this is What We Do, where we'll meet the people behind the most intriguing passions, hobbies, and jobs around the world. What is it that people get from playing sports that they don't get in other aspects of their lives?
We as human beings like to do something that is measurable. So if you just go back to, wow, we as a human species wanted to break the 4-minute mile or summit Everest or go to the moon or go whatever. We see things that are physical accomplishments, and it's just built into us and into every culture of like, God, I want to go up and over that mountain. What's also hardwired into us is an appreciation for others. We love to go watch somebody sing or listen to somebody sing or watch them play guitar. We love watching somebody do something that we can't do.
On John's show, Sports Science, he puts elite athletes to the test.
Where sports science really struck a chord with everyone is not necessarily in just in the fan of people who are rabid sports fans, but just in the general consumer who's like, oh my God, I love watching a human being perform at the highest level.
He studies the striking power of MMA fighters, the science behind Bruce Lee's one-inch punch, and even the effect of candy on performance. Take Marshawn Lynch, for example.
Oh, look at this run. What a run. Marshawn Lynch.
Besides having led the NFL in touchdowns twice and helped the Seattle Seahawks clinch Super Bowl 48, Marshawn is known for his love for Skittles.
I want to thank Skittles for making the game day more awesomer.
Marshawn says the sugar rush boosts his performance. John puts that claim to the test on an episode of Sports Science.
20 minutes after Marshawn's candy gorge, his blood sugar level has increased by nearly 55%. As sugar enters Marshawn's bloodstream, a chemical reaction called glycolysis occurs to produce ATP, the muscle's power source. Marshawn's increase in blood glucose can increase his short-term muscle ATP production by 35%.
People appreciate greatness, whether or not it's in a human being or if it's in a product or if it's in something that's in nature. And when you're able to communicate that greatness, that's when you really are able to strike a chord.
Finding ways to answer the demands of professional sports and increase performance is one thing, but elite athletes have to answer a more difficult question.
Can you do it when it matters? Staying calm under pressure is really the key and the difference between good and great.
Our passions and self-conscious tendencies get the best of us. We become victims of our own misgivings and irrational thoughts, which keep us from reaching our true potential. But elite athletes have a psychological secret. They create a persona. It's what separates the good from the great. It's a mental armor that shields them from the doubt waiting to crawl in and tear away at their confidence. With a persona, elite athletes can unlock their greatness.
I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad.
If you think about any of your favorite athletes, Michael Jordan, think of Tom Brady, or anybody who's sort of iconic, they have their own superhero persona that they put on, which allows them to have that swagger and almost that confidence that would be very difficult to always have in everyday life. By being able to sort of switch it on and off and to understand that you're putting on your cape, so to speak, that allows you to think in a way that you ordinarily wouldn't in everyday life. And that gives you an excuse to be incredibly confident. And this persona is able to do these things. When you believe that so much, you behave very differently.
Is that persona something that they naturally come with, or is that something that is trained at the professional level?
It's certainly developed over time. It's not necessarily even at the professional level, but if you think about the development of let's take an athlete, from the time that they're in elementary school to high school to college and beyond, they're figuring out, what is it that I do really well? What is it that I want to exude, when I'm playing, and what do I want my opponents to think of me? Think of the Mike Tyson persona.
My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
Mike believed a fight was won or lost before he ever stepped in the ring. Through his persona, he tunnels into the heads of his opponents and plants his flag. Then there's the opposite approach. With NBA player Kawhi Leonard, he's quiet and calm, with ice running through his veins.
It's not that he has this, aggressive look. It's that he's got the exact opposite. Nothing can fluster him. And so people can't really read exactly how he's feeling or what's going on. So it becomes very confusing.
The benefits of a persona can be applied to any profession, even yours.
Think about, rock stars, actors, entertainers, and then, move outside of sort of the visible professions, and move into something like being a doctor. Like, you have to understand that the way that I behave as a doctor is different than the way that I behave as, a husband or father or a friend outside of a hospital setting.
With all the incredible athletes and non-athletes that you've worked with over the years, is there any advice that you've gotten that stuck out?
The best single piece of advice I got was when I was in college, and I wanted to get involved in entertainment, and I actually was able to link up with Steven Soderbergh, who had just finished Sex, Lies, and Videotape. It was before he was a multi-Academy Award winning director and true pioneer. He was just starting his career, and I said, I want to be in entertainment. That's what I want to do. How do I do it? And what he said was, look, the way that you're going to do it is you're going to learn to do everything yourself. Mm-hmm. You're going to figure it out yourself. That's the only way that people get ahead. That principle is really applied in everything that I've certainly done and what I've seen from elite athletes.
Through tens of thousands of hours of analyzing the world's best soccer players, fighters, quarterbacks, and forwards, John hopes to pass along his torch of inspiration.
Everybody has greatness inside of them, especially the ability to sharpen your mental skills and really to be able to understand what your limitations actually are. And they're probably much higher than you actually think. The work through sports science, I've had the great honor of having a front row seat to greatness. And I hope that the work that I'm putting out there inspires people to be the best version of themselves.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Would you mind leaving a rating and review for the show? It only takes a moment and it's a huge help. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. Until next time, stay curious. What We Do is produced by me, Doug Frazier, for WHRO Public Media.